Friends, how's it going? Good. Are you guys excited it's Friday? Well, I'm excited it's Friday, so you can enjoy my excitement, okay? All right, so today we are going to talk about high school. Bless you. We're talking about high school today, okay? We're going to talk about graduation requirements, and we're going to talk about expectations going into the high school, okay? Let me ask you a question real first before we get started. Do you guys get a high school diploma handed to you in 4 years? Just by going to high school? No! You have to earn it, right? You have to take an active role in earning your high school diploma. So that's what we're going to talk about first, okay? But first, before that, I want to introduce you to a couple people. On your left-hand side is our head principal at the high school, Mr. Ballmer. You'll hear him and see him all around the school. To the right is Mr. Newton. He is your grade level principal. He's going to follow you from freshman year through senior year. So I would suggest making a great first impression with him and continuing that because he's going to be with you for 4 years. Then I'd like to introduce you to your counselors, okay? At the high school, we're alpha. What that means is that your counselor is based off of your last name. So we work with students in all grade levels, but it's based off of your last name. So if your last name starts with an A to a C, Mrs. Bridge is your counselor. She's right behind you. Give us a wave. That's Mrs. Bridge, all right? If your last name starts with D and goes to H-I, like if, let's say, your last name is Hines, like H-I-N-E-S, then Mrs. Grable is your counselor. She's not here in this room right now, okay? But that is her lovely face. Then to the right is Miss Gould. She has students with the last name H-O to M-E. She's right behind you. That's Miss Gould, all right? So that would be students with like the last name Hochter to Messer. Are we making sense? Does that make sense? Okay. Then we've got Mrs. Burrows. This, for students with the last name M-I, like Mitchell to S-E, like Setters. And then last but not least is me, Mrs. Wiedmeyer, S-H through Z. All right? That's me. All right, so let's talk about graduation requirements. There are 3 parts to graduation. The packet that you guys got today, which will also be available on the school website, breaks down the 3 parts to graduation. That's what these are. Part 1 is credits. You need 20 very specific credits to graduate. That's the courses you take in high school, okay? The classes that you take. We're going to talk about what specific classes you have to take in order to earn your high school diploma. Part 2 is your state testing. There are 6 state tests that you will take in high school. 2 of them, Algebra 1 and ELA 2, are the ones you have to get a raw score of a 684 or higher on in order to meet this requirement. Okay? And then lastly, you need to earn 2 diploma seals. There are 12 diploma seals that are listed in your packet. We're going to go through those, and you have to earn 2 of them. Okay? So the goal for you today is to pick the 2 that you are going to work towards. So again, you are taking an active part in your graduation diploma. Okay? All right. So, let's start with part 1. Part 1 is credits. You need 20 very specific credits to graduate. Can you move? Yeah. They're right over here. Oh, there's one right here. Oh, okay. All right. So you need 20 specific credits to graduate. You need 4 credits of math. All right? 4 credits of math. Normally what that looks like for the average student is going to be like Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, then a 4th math, whether that be pre-calc or financial algebra. Some students Maybe you already are in algebra as a high school credit right now. So next year, you would take geometry, then algebra 2, then you could choose from there with the route that you want to take, like pre-calc, financial algebra, or if you're trying to work towards IB math, you have some routes you can choose. For those that struggle with math, your route might look like algebra 1, applied math, geometry, algebra 2, okay? So there are different paths that we've created so that way you're successful, you're getting the foundations you need to be successful and get those 4 credits of math for graduation. You need 4 credits of English. So that's 4 years of English. You have to take English all 4 years. You need 3 credits of science. Specifically, you need a physical science, a biological science, and then a 3rd advanced science. So we have a lot of science electives at the high school. We've got chemistry, physics, anatomy, zoology, material science, environmental science, okay? You need 3 credits of social studies. You need specifically world history, US history, and government/econ. You need a half a credit of physical education, so you need a half credit of PE. At the high school, your PE classes, they're semester long and they're worth a quarter credit, so you would need 2 PE classes. However, some may not need to take PE. If you qualify for a PE waiver, you don't have to take PE, okay? To do that, if you participate in 2 seasons of a sport, so it could be the same sport, like if you do tennis for 2 years, you will qualify for the PE waiver. Or if, let's say, you do football and basketball, you would qualify for a waiver. If you do 2 seasons of marching band or drill, you qualify for a PE waiver. And lastly, if you do 2 years of ROTC, you qualify for a PE waiver. Did I answer your question? Great. Okay. So this is a form you have to complete. We don't automatically just give it to you after you complete 2 seasons. The form is online or in the College and Career Center. You fill out this form after you've completed your 2 seasons, okay? You need a half a credit of health. Good news, a lot of you, I would hope a good amount of you, excuse me, have either taken health this semester or took it last semester. If you did and you earned a C or higher, you earned high school credit for this, and you don't need to take it at the high school. If you have not taken it, or you took it and you earned a D or an F, you do need to take it for high school credit in high school. Now we do have summer school. The only summer school classes that are available for 8th graders are PE and health. So you can sign up for a summer school if you do want to knock those out over the summer. That starts May 31st, so you definitely need to register ASAP. Lastly, you need 5 elective credits. That means any class that we haven't talked about. So if you take a 4th year of science, that's an elective. If you take a 4th year of social studies, that's an elective. If you take a foreign language, that's an elective. ROTC, that's an elective. Music, art, business, STEAM lab, those are all electives. Now 1 credit of that 5 has to be a fine art. A fine art is a music or an art class. A fine art is a music or an art class. So you have to take 1 full credit of a fine art. So you could do a mix and match too. So you could take a semester of studio art and then a semester of guitar, and you're good on your fine arts. Okay? Or you could do a full year of choir, okay, like a cappella. You've met it. Or a full year of drawing and painting. You're good. Okay? Questions about credits? We know what we need? All right, let's go to part 2. All right, so we're still on the front page. Part 2 is that state testing. So there are 6 state tests at the high school. All right, the 6 are Algebra 1, Geometry, ELA 2, Biology, US History, and Government. Okay? You take those exams the year you take those classes. They happen in the spring, around like April, early May, mostly in April, okay? Your goal is to get 3s on those. It's on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 means you have a basic skill, 2 is limited, 3 is proficient, 4 is advanced, and 5 is accelerated. 3 is what you're aiming for. Now, Algebra 1 and ELA 2. You specifically have to get a raw score of a 684 for graduation requirements. That's roughly a 2, okay? It's not guaranteed 2, but it's in the 2 range. So we're specifically looking for a 684. Do I have some students in here that have taken algebra this year? Anybody? 1? Okay. Pre-algebra does not count. Good question. So if you took algebra this year, you should have taken the state test. You probably got your scores back, and you know if you got a 684 or not. Okay? The rest of you, you're going to take algebra next year, and you're going to take the test in the spring. ELA 2 happens your sophomore year. That's your 10th grade English class. Okay? So for those of you who are interested in taking CCP English, that's fine. However, CCP is College Credit Plus. Okay? So if you took the AccuPlacer and you placed into a college course and you decided to take it, that's great. But understand, your sophomore year, you need to be in an English 10 class, whether that be CP English STEAM, or Honors English 10, okay? Because that curriculum lines up with the state test, okay? So 684. What happens if you don't get a 684? You gotta retake it, okay? You gotta retake the test. What happens if you still don't get the score? No, you don't take it again. You got options 1, 2, and 3, okay? That is the next route. If you do not score high enough, get that 684, get that minimum, your options are option 1, 2, and 3. Option 1 is you have to demonstrate 2 career-focused activities. That's earning a 12-point industry-recognized credential. That looks like you going over to one of the Oaks campuses your junior and senior year. Because most of their programs over there, you earn an industry-recognized credential in the lab that you choose. Okay? So after, let's say, your freshman year and you don't do great on the algebra state test, or maybe your sophomore year, you retake it in the winter and you still haven't gotten it, and if you weren't thinking about Scarlet to begin with, you might want to start thinking about that. Because that's one of the options. Okay? Then there's a support piece that you have to do with it as well, like the Ohio Means Job Seal, and we walk you through that. But you're showing that you have 15 professional skills. There's a form you complete. Option 2 is you enlist in the military. You would have to take the ASVAB, which is the military enlistment test. It's like an aptitude test. Okay? You take it. It doesn't enlist you in the military. So anybody can take the ASVAB just for seeing what careers, because it's a career exploration type test. But it's based off of your aptitude. Do you guys know what aptitude means? It's like the knowledge that you know. Okay? So that's a pretty cool test to take. But the ASVAB determines what branch of the military you could qualify for, and it also tells you what jobs in the military you would qualify for. So you do have to take the ASVAB in order to be able to enlist in the military. Okay? So we're not saying you have to enlist in the military, but that's one of the options. Then option 3 is taking a CCP course in the class in the core area that you did not pass on that state test. So let's say you didn't pass your Algebra 1 state test. Then you would need to take a college course in math. I'm going to be real with you guys. In order to take a college course, you have to show you're college ready. And if you're not showing that you have the minimum, the limited skill in math, you probably aren't going to show you're college ready for math. So number 3 is probably not very realistic. There might be some outliers that this might work for, but this isn't a really big, I don't see a lot of people getting this one. I don't think it's that realistic, okay? Are we clear on state testing? Yeah? Questions? Yes. If you don't pass the state test and you don't pass these 3 options, if you don't earn one of these 3, you do not graduate. You do not earn your diploma. You are a non-grad. I'm sorry. I'm here to be real with you, right? That's what it is. Good question. Yes. What do you do if you don't graduate? That's a great question. What do you do if you don't graduate? No, you can't stay here forever. You could get your GED. The only time that you could get your GED is after your cohort, that's your class, graduates. It's a test that you have to take that is pretty difficult. There's a cost that goes along with it. You can still get a job, but you won't be qualified for as many opportunities or jobs without a high school diploma, because that's one of the questions they ask. Or maybe you might get that job, but they may not pay you as well without your high school diploma. So that's why we're talking about this right now. We're setting you up with knowledge and information and trying to get you in the right headspace to prepare for high school to earn your diploma. This is very achievable, guys. Very, very achievable. All right? Any other questions about state testing? I'm not trying to scare you. Hopefully I'm not scaring you. Okay. All right. Part 3. Flip the page. Flip the page. This is the part of the graduation requirements that if you have a pen or a pencil, I'd like you to get it out right now. If you have a pen or a pencil, I'd like you to get it out right now. This is the part where we're going to go over the 12 seals. Remember, you have to earn 2 seals. So I want you to make a plan today while we're in here. What are the 2 seals that you want to work towards? Remember, you have to take an active participation in your high school career and earning your diploma, okay? So, note here, there are 12 seals. The first 9 say Ohio to the right of them. That means they are state seals. The state defined them. The last 3 say local. That means that Princeton City Schools defined those seals. For graduation, you have to earn 2 seals. One of them must be a state seal. You cannot get 2 local seals. One of which must be a state seal. You can get 2 state seals, but you cannot get 2 local. Yeah. It says to the right in all of them, it should on your paper, next to the bold, it'll say if it's state or local. But the first 9 are all state, okay? So we're gonna go through these fairly quickly, all right? What's my time on this bell? 1:17. All right, we got this, guys. All right, first one is the Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal. This is a form you would complete, okay? And it has 15 professional skills that you have to demonstrate in 2 of 3 different environments. Those are listed in bold on your packet, okay? The first environment is community. So if you were to volunteer. The second is work. That means you get a job and you get paid for that job. The third is school. So you doing things in school that show those professional skills, and you have a teacher or an administrator at school that sign off on these skills. So it's 15 skills. You have to explain how you demonstrated this skill. So it might say like punctuality. And maybe your response is, I showed up on time to work every day. Or for my shift. And then the person that works at, like your supervisor at work, initials it. Or let's say you use that as a school, right? You have that as your environment for school, and your teacher signs off that I was on time to class every day, okay? It's a form that you have to demonstrate those 15 skills. You have to have 3 mentors that sign off on this. So 3 people, and 2 of 3 of those environments sign off on this, saying that, yes, you demonstrated these skills. The next one is the industry recognized credential seal. This again, where do we get the industry recognized credentials? Do you remember? Great Oaks, that's right, okay? The next one is the technology seal. This one you can get in 1 of 3 ways, okay? 1 of 3 ways. The first way is earning a 2 or higher on an appropriate AP exam. Sad story. Right now, we don't offer any classes that fall under this. We have AP Computer Science, but we're not offering it next year because we just don't have enough students that want to take it, enough interest. So it might become available while you guys are in high school, depending on student interest. Number 2, you could earn a final course grade of a B or higher in an appropriate CCP, so college course. So we have classes like, we have 6 CCP IT classes that Mr. Sullivan teaches, okay? Lastly, you could earn this seal by taking 1 year and passing the class for either our Intro to Engineering class, which is the 2nd level of Project Lead the Way. You guys know what PLTW is, right? Okay, so at the high school, the 1st level is called Essentials of Engineering. The 2nd level, you would normally take your sophomore year, is called Intro to Engineering. So you take that class, pass it, you've earned this seal. Easy one, right? The other class at the high school that we offer that would meet this criteria is STEAM 4, which is like engineering of and robotics, right, Miss Gould? Engineering of and robotics, STEAM 4? Something like that, I'm close. Okay, that's a senior year class. All right, next one is the College Readiness Seal. This one, if you score a college readiness score, meaning that you show that you're college ready, on either the ACT or the SAT, you would earn this seal. What's the ACT and SAT? What do you need that for? College, right. But let's talk about this real quick. Due to the pandemic, a lot of colleges changed to test optional, meaning some schools do not require the ACT or SAT in order for you to be accepted or for them to look at your application. So you have to know what schools require it or have it as test optional, okay? But during your junior year, every single one of you in this room will take it. It's called the state-funded ACT. So everyone in your class is required to take this test. It'll be here in the building. If you want to take it again, you sign up on your own. It's a national test day that you take outside of Princeton. The national score, anybody have an idea of what the national, the average score is? 40. Let's start with what's the highest score you can get? 36. Very good. Well, that's why I moved to that question first, you know? All right. So what do you think the average is, the national average? No. 21.6. It's a little low. Okay? Do you want to know the average ACT of a student admitted to UC? You guys know UC, right? Normally we have a lot of students who want to be admitted to UC. On average, the student admitted to UC, I believe it's a 23 to a 25. What about Ohio State? This one always, I think, surprises people. What do you think the average ACT score of a student admitted to Ohio State is? Like I heard it, 28. 28. So understand, again, a lot of these schools like UC changed to test optional, okay? So it is test optional, but it can help you, okay? All right, so when you take it, if you get a score of an 18 or higher on English, a 22 on reading, and a 22 on math, you met this seal. You show that you're college ready. If you choose to take the SAT outside of Princeton, because we don't offer that one, if you get a 480 or higher on the evidence-based reading and writing, and a 530 or higher on math, you qualify for the seal. All right, next one. The military enlistment seal. You can get this in one of two ways. One, enlist in the military. Or 2, take 2 years of ROTC and pass. Do I have anybody in here taking ROTC this year? All right, you take it next year, you've earned the seal next year. Pass it and you're golden, okay? You guys can do that too. You take it your freshman and sophomore year, or maybe you take it your sophomore and junior year, you would get this seal. This is a really easy one to get. Take it and pass. It's also a really good class for you to learn some leadership skills, some team building skills, and discipline, okay? It doesn't mean that you're planning to go into the military. It's just a good supportive class to have. All right, next one, the citizenship seal. You can get this in one of 3 ways. One of three ways. Number one, you earn a proficient score. You got that pencil? On your paper, it doesn't say what proficient is. Do we remember what proficient means? What score is that? 3. Very good. So write 3. A proficient score is a 3. You need to get a 3 or higher on both the U.S. history and government state test. That's your EOCs we talked about. Or you earn a final course grade, so a semester 1 and a semester 2 grade, of a B or higher in both U.S. history and government. So it's important that you're doing well in those classes because that could help you get this seal, okay? And that tends to be, for the average student, U.S. history is sophomore year and government is your junior year, okay? Or number 2, earn a 2 or higher on an appropriate AP exam. So we've got AP U.S. history, AP human geography, AP government, and IB history. Those would qualify. Or number 3, earn a final course grade of a B or higher in an appropriate college course. We offer at the high school currently CCP US History 1 and CCP US History 2. Okay? The next one is the science seal. This is very, very similar to the last one. You get it in one of 3 ways. The first way is earning a proficient, this is where we write it down, score. So what was that? 3. Very good. You have to earn a 3 or higher on the biology state test. Okay? Or you earn a final course grade of a B or higher on a specified advanced course. So for sure that's classes like chemistry and physics. We're going to define what those are. This is a new guideline or criteria that the state added in, so we're defining what those other electives are. But I can for sure tell you that chem and physics would work, yes. Ooh, what a question. What is the difference between AP and IB? So AP is advanced placement. IB is international baccalaureate, okay? If I were to rank our classes in the building on rigor and difficulty, you ready for this? CP, which is college prep. STEAM, which to you guys, like your honors is kind of equivalent to our STEAM. Honors, which is like where our gifted, your guys' gifted is at, okay? Then we've got CCP, College Credit Plus, AP, IB. IB is going to be the most rigorous and the most demanding, okay? IB and AP have an exam at the end of the year. It is called the AP or IB test. If you score high enough in those courses, and it depends on the college, you can get college credit for those classes, okay? But it depends on the college. So let's say you want to go to Harvard, right? If you want to go to Harvard and you take AP US History, if you get a 3 on the AP test, they may not take that as college credit. That might be a little low. That actually might hurt you. But if you get like a 4 or 5, you would probably get college credit. But like UC, they would most likely take a 3 and use that as college credit. Okay, so it depends on the college. They get to define those parameters. Make sense? That was a great question, yeah. Does CCP government still qualify you for the citizenship seal? Great question, yes. Yes, good question. All right, number 3, back over here. If you earn a final course grade that's equivalent to a B or higher in an appropriate CCP, College Credit Plus course, you earn this seal. So that right now we offer CCP Environmental Science and CCP Anatomy. All right, the next one, the Honors Diploma seal. There are 6 honors diplomas. I'm not going to go through each one. They're in the Polaris, our curriculum guide. We'll highlight the Honors Diploma in a little bit. A lot of our students work towards the Honors Diploma, the Academic Honors Diploma, okay? But it's good to know what you need going in. The International Baccalaureate, we have about a handful or 2 students that earn that each year, which is super prestigious. It's really difficult to get, but that makes you stand out as an applicant, okay, for college. The third one, Career Technical Honors Diploma, we see a decent, kind of like a handful of students at the Scarlet Oaks that earn this diploma. The other ones I don't really see, but again, the Honors Diploma description and criteria are on the Polaris. All right, this is the last state seal. The seal of biliteracy. This is also pretty prestigious because there's, it's pretty hard to get. One more second. You have to meet all three. All three. All right. The first one, demonstrate eligibility for a high school diploma. 2, demonstrate English language proficiency. There's a couple different ways you can do this. That's listed on the screen, such as earning a 3 or higher on the ELA state test. 3rd, demonstrate world language proficiency. So here at Princeton, we only offer IB and AP for French and Spanish. We don't offer it for ASL, for sign language. ASL moves into CCP, okay? So really, this is for students on the track for French or Spanish. If you earn a 5 or higher on the HLIB Spanish or French exam, and you meet the other criteria, you would earn this seal. If you get a 6 or higher on the SLIB French or Spanish exam, you would qualify. The IB, that would be something you take your senior year. Yeah. So this is showing that you can speak and read 2 different languages proficiently. That's what this seal is saying. It's pretty cool. Okay. Going into our local seals. Did you have a question real quick? Is Scarlet Oaks pretty much a place that you can get your extra points or help you to graduate? Is that the question? That is one of the perks. That is one of the perks of going to Scarlet Oaks. But the other perk of going to Scarlet Oaks is depending on the program you go to, you can leave high school with a trade, meaning that you can go right into your career, right? Or let's say you want to go to college. A lot of students at Scarlet Oaks still plan to go to college, and they maybe went to cosmetology, like that program, and now they can do hair on the side and get paid for college at the same time. Or they're like, okay, I want to go be a nurse, so they do the secondary practical nursing program. That preps them really well for nursing in college, because that's a really rigorous program. Okay, good questions, great questions. All right, we got 3 local seals. I'm gonna ask that we put our cell phones away, okay? I'm redirecting you. I'm asking that we put our cell phones away. I'll move fast, okay? I know it can get boring. All right, local seal. Wait, question. Have we all picked at least one state seal? Yes? Great. All right, we have one. Community service seal. So this is something you can start accumulating or working towards once you enter high school. So not before August, whatever the start date is, okay? So you need to accumulate 15 hours of community service. These would be things like if you were to work with, you have a church that you go to and you ask to help with volunteering. Or you're a part of our Key Club at the high school. They do a lot of volunteering. Or let's say you go to your local animal shelter or food bank. That would be volunteering. But let's say you mow your grandma's lawn. That is not community service. That's just you being a nice human. Okay? So I definitely implore you to do that, but it just makes you a good human. Okay? All right. Fine or performing arts seal. This is a 4-point system. Okay? You have to accumulate 4 points. How you can earn points. You get a half a point for each semester of a fine or performing arts class. So let's say you take a semester of studio art. That's a half point. Let's say you take jazz. That's a full year. So that's 2 semesters, so you get 1 point total. Let's say you take drawing and painting. That's a full year, so that's one point. You following me? All right, and then you can get a point for participation in each school or community-sponsored drama or musical. So 4 points. This one has a form you have to complete after you've done you've met the criteria. You fill out that form so we can then verify it. We don't track this for you. You submit this form and then we verify it. Okay? Community service is the same way. There's a form you complete to log your hours, then you would turn it into us to verify. The last one, the Certified Student Engagement Seal. This is also a 4-point system. So you have to accumulate 4 points. You can earn points, 1 point for each season of participation in a high school sport. So if you do 4 years of track, you've earned this seal. And this is a mix and match you can do, okay, guys? 1 point for participation in each school-sponsored drama or musical production. 1 point, I'm going to slowly read this one. Ready? Ready. 1 point for each semester as a member of a school-sponsored band, orchestra, or choir. So let's process that. If you take a full year of choir, you get 1 point for each semester. So for 1 year of choir, you've earned 2 points for the seal. Let's say you're one of those students that takes jazz and orchestra. You got your 4 points in that year, okay? So that's a bonus about this one. All right, 1 point for each semester as a class officer or membership of a student leadership or government group. Lastly, 1 point for each year as a member of a school-sponsored extracurricular activity or club. This is also on a form that you have to complete, that you would submit, that we would verify after you've completed all those, okay? And these are on the school website under the counseling page under graduation requirements, the links. All right, so I want to emphasize, there are 6 state tests. You heard a couple of the seals in here. You can earn by just doing well on those state tests. So take those tests seriously. How can you make sure that you do well on those state tests? Study, pay attention in class, be on time, be an active listener. I've seen people talking and asking questions in here, talking like as a part of us instead of on their own. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. I've also seen people taking notes and making plans. That's what I'm looking for, okay? All right, the honors diploma. We got some background noise, music going on. All right, the honors diploma. This is the criteria for the honors diploma. I'm not going to go through all of it. You can see it on the screen. You must meet all but one to earn the honors diploma, the academic honors diploma. Now, I will say a lot of our students tend to do all but the ACT or SAT score because that one's kind of tough to get. But we do have a handful of students that do that. Now, I want to highlight, see where it says GPA? That is a 3.5 or higher unweighted GPA. So at the high school, there's a difference. There's an unweighted and a weighted GPA. An unweighted GPA, the highest GPA you could get is a 4.0. That means you got straight A's. A weighted GPA is if you're taking honors, AP, CCP, IB classes. Those are weighted differently, which I'll show you in a minute. So you could get higher. Like, so I've got students that got like a 4.6 right now. Okay? So when you're taking those honors and higher courses, your weighted GPA gets you higher. Now, why do we care about weighted GPA? That determines your class rank. What does class rank mean? So if there's 500 of you, and you're ranked number 1, that means you're the top student in your class. You've earned the most credits and the highest grades. If you are ranked 100 out of 500, you're in the top quarter of your class. If you're ranked 400 of 500, you're in the bottom quarter of your class. You kind of break it up into 4 quarters. You get it? Okay. The grading scale at the high school is the same as the middle school, so that does not change. Wait. Okay. All right. This is the unweighted, or these are the weighted classes that we talked about. So any CP level course, college prep, is a 4.0. If you take a college credit plus course that is not a core class, so let's say you want to take like CCP Intro to Business, that would be weighted at a 4.0. But if you take a CCP Psychology, that's a core, we would make that a 5.0. Those are questions and conversations you can have with your counselor to determine what the weights are. If you take an honors course, the highest you can get is a 4.5 for an A. Any AP, IB, or CCP core, those are weighted at a 5.0. We good? We following? What does GPA stand for? Grade point average. Great. So that's, and at the high school, when you get a transcript, which is your academic record, on the transcript it says all your grades, the classes that you've taken. Your cumulative GPA are the grades that you've accumulated starting your freshman year through your senior year. So I need you to understand that what you do your freshman year matters. So if you start your freshman year and you get like C's, you're gonna have a difficult time. You're gonna be in an uphill battle. I'm not gonna say you're difficult. I'm gonna say you're gonna have an uphill battle to get your GPA back up to like a 3.35. It's definitely never going to be a 4.0, because that means you to get a perfect 4.0, you have to have straight A's for an unweighted GPA. Did you have a question? Does your health grade in high school affect it? Great question. So because it's a middle school and our cumulative GPAs are based off of your 9th through 12th grade year, it shows up on your high school transcript, but it shows up as a P for pass. So that way it doesn't affect your GPA. It doesn't hurt or help it. Make sense? Great question. Yeah. So encore classes is not like GPA? Say it one more time. Encore classes is not GPA? Encore, are you talking about like classes right now that you're taking? Like electives? Yes. So electives, so all of your classes you take in high school count towards your high school GPA. Okay? If you're taking like a high school course right now, that does not affect your high school GPA. Get what I'm saying? If you take a class in high school, that affects your GPA, your high school GPA. Does that make sense? I hope I'm being clear. Okay. This is the one I want to highlight. Okay? So if we're playing on our phones or we're not paying attention or we're sleeping, this is the part I need you to sit up and pay attention to. This is something that's going to be a pretty big change for you guys, okay? At the high school, all of our teachers use standards-based grading for grading. What does that mean? That means that 90% of your grade is based off of summative work. Okay, so that is tests, quizzes, essays, projects. 10% of your grade is based off of formative work. So that would be like homework, wax. A lot of our teachers do not include participation in your grade. That's just an expectation. So I know that that is a big change for you guys, okay? And that is the big reason why you've been placed in the classes that you've been placed in. We look at your state testing scores. We do look at your grades a little bit, but we put more emphasis on your state testing, and we look at multiple of those. So it's not just one piece of data. We look at multiple pieces of data. Because your grades in high school are based off of summative work. Tests, quizzes, essays, projects. Do you understand the content? Not just, are you good at doing your homework and turning it in? Got it? Now, what I also need you to hear me say is that homework and formative is really important. You guys watch sports, right? Or you participate in a sport. Let's talk about basketball. Those players that get on the court for a game, do they have points already on the scoreboard? No. What do they have to do beforehand? Before they even walk on the court for the game? What do they have to do every day? I heard it over here. Practice. They have to practice. If they practice, they get better. They perform better at the game. Make sense? That's what formative work is. It's you practicing to get better. Even though some of you, I guarantee, there are some of you in here that are like, I can listen, pay attention, not do the homework, and do a great job. But I guarantee you, if you do your formative work, you will do an even better job if you practice. Okay? Okay. Questions about standards-based grading? One more piece, sorry, I almost forgot one. The bonus, one of the things, positive pieces of there's multiple positives, but one of the things about standards-based grading is that if you don't do well on one of the tests or quizzes or whatever, you can request to retake it. There is a process for it. You have a timeline. I believe it's a week. There's a form you have to complete to turn in to request to retake something, but that is an option, okay? All right, I know I have 1 minute, so we're gonna move. All right, if you are planning to participate or be a college athlete, you need to start talking to your coaches and the athletic department and make sure that you are taking NCAA approved courses. Because coming your junior year, you'll need to create an NCAA clearinghouse account, and you'll have an NCAA GPA that will tell you if you're eligible to play a college sport or not. Non-credit option. This is something for students that are looking like to be in the top 20, that are trying to boost their rank. This is an option you can start doing your sophomore, junior, and senior year, not your freshman year. What this means is you can non-credit up to two non-weighted courses but there's a timeline you have to do it on. We'll talk more about this later, but this timeline is definite. We don't play around with this one, okay? So there's a deadline of 10 days, first 10 days of school to submit this form. But again, this is your sophomore year, so we'll talk about it more later. We have, our grades are based off of semesters. How you get a semester grade is based off of your 2 quarters, so quarter 1, quarter 2 plus exam equals your semester grade. Quarter 3, quarter 4 exam equals semester 2 grade. Okay, that's what shows up on your transcript. Those are when you get your report cards. Progress book, you guys already have that. I need you to check it at least once a week. At minimum, once a week. Your parents will have access to one too if they set it up. So you guys should be checking your progress book with them as well. Okay? Help hold yourself accountable with your parent or guardian. These are the clubs and activities that we offer. I'm not going to go through them. We got to go fast. Second page. So clearly we got a lot. These are posted on our school website as well. All right, we already talked about that. Schedules for next year will be mailed home prior to school starting. It says 2 weeks, give or take. Okay? We work on the master schedule really, really hard, and we ensure that everybody has a full schedule before it goes out. And what we do is we hand check schedules to make sure you have classes that you need for graduation. So it takes time. So please do not email your counselor and say, hey, can I see my schedule? You will get it in the mail. We're working on it so hard, okay? So hard. All right. This is our website. I need you guys to know this website, be used to it, bookmark it, because this is where we have a lot of information. Each counselor has roughly about 400 to 450 students per counselor, okay? How we communicate mainly to you guys is via email. And it's not going to be just from your counselor. It's going to be from one of the 5 counselors. Because each of us are in charge of different pieces, even though you might be our student, you may not get an email from just that counselor, okay? So know our names, look for those emails, and read those. We send information about opportunities, so you want to see those. All calls, make sure you're getting all calls. If you're not getting all calls, your parent's not getting all calls, please let us know. If you're not seeing anything in the mail, that means something's wrong. You should be seeing things in the mail, like your schedule, okay? But if you don't get your schedule, 2 weeks prior, give it a little bit more time, okay? All right. Lastly, how can we ensure that we graduate? Be here and be on time. That is something you will hear Mr. Ballmer say all the time. Be here and be on time. Attendance is key. Pay attention in class. Be an active listener. Participate. Ask questions. Highlight things. Write notes, etc. Attend extra help sessions. We have Tuesday and Thursday help sessions after school with an activity bus that starts shortly after the school year begins. And stay organized. You will get a planner at the beginning of the year. Make sure to utilize that. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time and your attention. We look forward to having you next year. You guys are going to go out the right door. We got classes coming in, so we want you guys going out the right door. Make sure